G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We're here on a brand new map in the brand new expansion with a brand new patch with a brand new civ. I know I can't stop myself and I know damn well you guys can't help but comment. But anyway, let's get into it. We have got ourselves a pretty fun matchup here. A match, oh, no you didn't. Oh, Fei-chan with a sneaky little steal early on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's time to introduce our players. Sporting in the south side of the map, I guess you could call it the west side of the map, in the color purple, playing as the Malians, also known as the Wallalol God. It is Corvinus 1. And in the northeast side of the map, playing as the Order of the Dragon in the color green, it's Fei-chan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cliffside. If you're enjoying this casted content, make sure you leave a like on the video. It really helps out with the traction of the channel. And have a look at this, baby. We got ourselves a Dark Age. I'm trying to think of like a word that starts with D that we could use to decide. No, you guys know what I mean, right? Like it's a Dark Age destruction, a Dark Age. There's got it. We'll find it. We'll find it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, look, it doesn't happen every single casted game that we do, but some of them it does. I've just gone out, bought myself a 4-pack, and I figured, well, you know what it's time for? It's time for one of these. So I'm going to throw that out there. Give me a second. I got to grab myself a sip. I figured I'd start the cast before I started the drink, just because I wanted you guys to be a part of it as well. And that's just the kind of love we throw around here. Hold on. Give me a second here. Absolutely perfect. You guys know what it is. I'm not going to tell you. All right, we got ourselves a Dark Age Barracks coming through from Fei-chan. Curiously, she drops a Barracks and then does nothing with it. This is the Marine Lord fake out that we've talked about. It's not really, it's the Marine Lord fake out, it's the Mr. Fake out. You put the Barracks down to scare them, and then you don't make anything out of it. Was this intentional? Was this intentional? I don't know. I don't know. You can see the Spearman, I mean, technically she can make it right now, but she doesn't want to. On the other side of the map, though, she's... Oh, look at this. And Corvinus is just waiting. Corvinus is like, I know what's coming. I know the Gilded Spearman is ready. The Pit Mine hasn't been... This is actually huge. This is actually so smart. Because, look at this. Corvinus is still sitting on 100... The Dark Age fake out. You've seen it here first. I can't believe we're witnessing it. This is actual big brain stuff that's coming through now. Think about the fallout that is associated with this. Okay, first and foremost, you're delaying Corvinus's age up, but it's not just that. You're forcing Corvinus to invest in things he doesn't want to invest in. You're forcing him to make a Barracks. He doesn't want to make that. You're forcing him to make Donzos this early. He doesn't want to make that. Now you can see the Pit Mine's finally going up after 3 minutes. He's going to be missing out on all of this tempo, all of this action. And look at Fei-chan behind this. Fei's just like, actually, I'm going to the Feudal Age, because I felt like she did that in a bit of a posh voice. She's like, actually, I'm going to the Feudal Age. A little bit of a Hermione Granger influence right there. Archon Chapel coming in, the worst landmark in the game for the Order of the Dragon. But, I mean, it's slightly better than the mine work, I guess. Honestly, man, like, I was watching the Order of the Dragon, and I saw early on, like, the mine work came in, and then it was like a fast castle, a 2TC fast castle build. Like, that landmark had no impact until Castle Age, and even then it was like, you know, oh, I'm paying slightly less for my upgrades. I don't think the upgrades came through in like 15 minutes. Anyway, probably a skill issue, but you guys get the picture. It's one of those things where it's just like, the Order of the Dragon, and I think this is a big factor, right? Order of the Dragon, we consider to be undertuned, or at least most of the top players consider to be undertuned, their eco. Needs to be a little bit stronger, and there's a couple of ways that you can do that, but the obvious way is just to boost the Archon Chapel, right? Just make the Archon Chapel, maybe make the radius a bit bigger, maybe make the number a little bit higher, but even then it's not going to feel that good. So I don't know what they're going to do with this civilization. I don't know how they're going to make it better. Nice little emergency repairs coming out there from Fei. But the age up now, going to be coming through at the 4-minute mark on the other side of the map for Corvinus. I tell you what, I am impressed by Fei's brain size today. That was absolutely perfect. I loved that so much. I wish we could go back and watch that from the very beginning now that we know. You know, if we knew back then what we know now, that sort of thing, it would be a completely different ball game. But there we go. Fei now reaching the Feudal Age. 4 minutes and 30, not a bad little timing. And I gotta say, that extra 50 wood that the Holy Roman Empire get, it has been put, or rather that the Order of the Dragon get, it is being put to good use here with your fake Barracks in the Dark Age. And you want to know the funny part is that it only really works on this map, because in the other maps, you don't actually scout your opponent this early. It's only on Cliffside that you can actually get the scout out there. You gotta be careful there, little scout man. It's only on cliffside that you really look to get out on the map quite early with your scout in towards that opponent's base. Look to try and deny their sheep. Because if they don't do that to you, then all of a sudden you've got yourself their sheep and your sheep, and it's feeling pretty good. Donzo's looking to try and get a couple of... What are they called? They're called javelins. I guess they're called javelins, yeah. Only doing 5 damage apiece, by the way. Extra damage to cavalry. I didn't realize that. I would have figured if you get thrown a spear in your face, it's probably going to hurt no matter what. It wouldn't really matter if you've got 4 legs or 2. But anyway, devs have decided it's a different avenue of balance that we'll be going through. New Age begins now as well for Corvinus. He's going to age up Saharan Trade Network in the back of the base. Beautiful little spot he's got actually here. This is lovely because he's going to be able to defend the gold vein and the second gold vein. Very, very nice. A safe second expansion. So I'm expecting that we'll see Corvinus look to try and take advantage of that early. For me, the question is going to be, how many cows do we see before the castle age comes through? Because if we're looking at Corvinus right now, he looks pretty comfy. He looks pretty chill. Hardened upgrade going to come through for the Donzos. But in the middle of the map, he scouts something is up. He scouts that there's 3 spears. So does he look to go into an archery range himself? Of course, the archery range unlocks multiple units for him, as the Malians access to our archer as well as to the javelin thrower, which counter both of the units that his opponent is throwing out in this game. Faye now going to be looking for a double broadaxe behind the scenes as well. Do we have a potential TC coming in for Faye? I feel like there might be a TC coming through. The double broadaxe, I mean, double broadaxe is a good sign that there's going to be archers coming out, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see... Are these Phils? Where are these moving? They're moving over to the deer back here. Donzo's moving around the back. Keep in mind this Gilded Archer back here. Dude, the Gilded Archer only does 6 damage. Feels like such a pathetic excuse of a unit. I hate that, man. I mean, it's a good unit in the sense that it's got like the nice attack speed and it's got good range on it, 5.5 tiles, but just from a stat, like a number perspective, man, feels underwhelming. Anyway, I'm going to stop complaining about the Order of the Dragon, or I would be here quite literally all day. And this game's only been 7 minutes. And look, I know you guys want more than complaining Dronga, but now, speaking of complaints, Corvinus going to be lodging a complaint with Faye saying, "Excuse me, you can't park here." Faye said, "Oh, but it's fine. All right, I'll move." She gets on out of here. A couple of archers could be the difference in it. Looks like they will be able to repel this attack for the moment, but the Donzos missed the javelin. She's trying to come back through once again. These villagers are a little bit tankier. She's just going to commit to it. She says, "I don't care. I don't care." Second Vil going down. Big oversight here by Faye. You could have easily just pushed up with the archers, pushed the Donzos out completely, kept yourself 2 villagers in your back pocket. Now there's a deficit of 7 villagers, but keep in mind, we got to apply the multiplier to that. That's a 1.25 multiplier. Don't forget that. And so with that 1.25 multiplier, that will mean that you're sitting at like what, 27, 26, 27 vils, somewhere around that, but obviously losing 2 vils early. You know, if we were to talk about things that you want to do and things that you don't want to do, like things that you want to do, I want to secure the gold. Things that I want to do, I want to get to Castle Age. Things I don't want to do, lose 2 villagers at 8 minutes. That's definitely on the cards for things not wanting to be done. So make sure you keep that in mind when you are out here. Dude, 21 military population against 1? It doesn't feel like it though, does it? When you're watching the bigger chads, you forget that their army is so powerful, yet so small, but at the same time so big, right? Like it's big armies. I mean, big units, small armies. I guess that's probably the best way to say it. You know, it's not about how big it is; it's about how you use it. I think that's what they've always said with the bigger chads. But actually, why would the bigger chads be saying that? Because they are bigger. Anyway, wheelbarrow coming through now. Looks like Faye not really up to much back here. We don't see any single sign of something silly. There you go. We don't see any points towards a Castle Age. We don't see anything pointing towards a second town center. Essentially, all we see at the moment is just going to be a Feudal Age play, which is kind of wild for this civilization, right? Comes out, it's basically the Holy Roman Empire 0.8, maybe like the Holy Roman Empire beta. You know, definitely not 2.0. You know, the Juicy's legacy is China 2.0. Oh my lord, look at the animation cancel. Nice little try right there. Juicy's legacy is definitely, you know, China 2.0. That civilization is absolutely cracked. But compared to the Holy Roman Empire, the Order of the Dragon feels a little bit slower. Anyway, that's enough, Drongo. Stop it. Stop it. We can talk about this civilization all day, and we're not going to do it, all right, Drongo? Stop it. Get yourself a drink. Okay, I'll get a drink. Give me a second, guys. I've talked myself into it. Hold on. That is good. That is really good. Archers looking to try and tee off. Remember, they only do 6 damage as well. Like, it's not even double damage. I mean, you probably wouldn't want it to be. I'd be kind of broken. On the top side, though, Musafati come through. Villager getting stuck out here. Javelin throw in the middle of the map. Men-at-Arms going to come say good day. Villager chased with 24 food. Does eventually go down in the Men-at-Arms. Looking to try and deal some damage here to these Javelin thrower. Oh, more villagers on the hunt. You can see Corvinus right now just focusing on these villagers. Just looking to try and take them out. And now the Javelin's going to turn around here. This is a really nice composition that Corvinus has got here early on. The Javelin throwers obviously deal well with the archers. Musafati deal well with the men-at-arms. Faye's still trying to chase away Corvinus and will eventually get there, but, you know, it doesn't feel good right now to be a gangster. We can say that much. Oh, battering ram. How you doing over here? Not too bad, not too bad. Siege engineering is through. +1 ranged armor is obviously coming through as well. But this is quite nice. This is definitely not something I expected, and this will be a great way for Faye to leverage her military advantage. Early on in this game, it's felt like she's outweighed the opponent, but hasn't really had a way to knock her out. So hopefully, Corvinus is preparing for what is imminently going to be his demise. We'll have to wait and see. Archer v Javelin. Who wins? It's probably going to be the Javelin. It's got slightly more armor, does extra damage against the Archer, 2 health remaining. And it is eventually going to be the Javelin that lives on to tell the tale, but unfortunately gets struck down immediately. And now we've got houses in the back of the base that are under pressure here. Not only do we have houses, we've got pit mines, we've got Saharan trade networks, and we've got a lot of Javelin throwers that are coming out right now. That's almost enough Javelin thrower to one-shot your Gilded Archer, and that's scary. You know, we've talked about this civilization before, the Order of the Dragon, and the fact that it's just, you know, Javelin throwers as a unit. If we just, I mean, we can try and break it down. We can talk. Let's talk a little bit about it after. For the moment, though, it's going to continue putting on pressure here. Faye looks to try and take out the pit mine. Javelin throwers doing a decent job of just making sure those individual units do stand down. You can see that the damage is slowly crippled by the units because they're able to take out the Javelin throwers down to 16 health on that bad boy right there. But now the battering rams are somewhat exposed, and don't be surprised if you see villagers pulled. Actually, I think there's villagers inside here that Corvinus has got that you could potentially pull just to look to try and take these battering rams down. But now the Musafati are out. Spears are going to help out as well. And the reality is it looks like this push will be shut down before even a single landmark is struck. There are reinforcements coming towards that top side. And have a look at this. This whole time, Corvinus has been adding in cows. You know, we were talking about the prospect of Castle Age, the prospect of cows, and the question I had was, how many cows are going to come out before Castle Age? And it looks like we've got our answer. A lot. There's going to be a lot of cows that are coming out today. And it looks like the Sahara Network did eventually take a strike, but now more units making their way through. So just from the get-go, this is a bit of a hard matchup, I think, for the Order of the Dragon, which kind of sucks, right? Obviously, it sucks playing unfavorable matchups, but one of the reasons why is because the Javelin Thrower, as a unit, it's not very good in higher numbers. So it's good in low numbers like this when we look at it. So because it's got 12 damage against ranged units. And so if we do the math here, right, if we say an archer's got 70 health normally, and you're doing 12 damage to that unit, then you only need 6 shots and you're going to kill it. And the problem is, once you've got 10 Javelin, you're really, like, overkilling it. But the good thing about playing against the Order of the Dragon are their units have a lot more health than the average bear. And it means that instead of that 12 damage now going to waste after that first little archer is dead, now that extra damage is applied to the Gilded Archer. And it means that you require more Javelin throwers to kill the Gilded Archer, which is a good thing, because the Malians love to make Javelin throwers. The problem is, they can't make too many, because the fact they overkill so ineffectively means that typically you want to avoid it. The age-up's now starting to come through. Corvinus has clicked up, managing to make his way up to the Castle Age. Plenty of Javelins here. Expect more Javelins. I wouldn't be surprised if we just quite literally see Javelin gaming today. So don't be surprised if that is going to be the way that it goes. Grand Fulani Corral comes out. I'm curious whether it affects this cattle ranch on the backside here. It's not going to be demonstrated on the UI. I know that much for a fact. But who knows? Maybe we could do some testing on it. I suspect it probably would. You can see, yeah, okay, it does, yeah, because the +4s are coming up, right? And it provides 20 food per minute, so it's giving 4 every 12 seconds. Cool. All right, so there you go. It does. The second ring will definitely be affected, but I'm assuming it has to be in the center. You can see right there, it's like towards the center. So there you go. The more you know, the more you know. Towards this outside, a double food double food, a double hunted food patch being taken right there. Gilded Horsemen coming out, going to be joining the party. These javelin throwers, a little bit unsuspecting, did think they were going to be fine without their Donzos, but very quickly we see Corvinus reacting. Instead of going into Donzos, it's going to be Musofadi. Now remember, even though the Gilded Horseman is a tanky boy, he's got a lot of health on him. He's not a heavy unit. He's a light unit, which means the Musofadi does not counter him. So you are going to want spears, or in this case, Donzos. Excuse me, deer. How did you... Did this deer run all... This deer ran all the way over here, and it got taken out. Oh, this is not good. Corvinus now out of position. Oh, he's made a huge mistake, and he realizes straight away. In this position, you just want to run your archers as far away as you possibly can, because you don't want them to die to the javelins. It looks like we do eventually lose one archer. But overall, a pretty decent fight for Faye, and now she is up 43 military to 5. So now the question is, how do you leverage this military advantage to find a further advantage? How do you take this and make it bigger? And I think what Faye is doing is exactly the right thing. Looking to try and get inside the base, look to try and get that siege on. You can see there is a lot of production now starting to come out in the back of the base for Corvinus. Will most likely be moving into sofas, and we can see them in queue now with 2 of them. One of the big things is once the Malian player reaches castle, a lot of sofas will be present. So we want to try and wall up our base, make sure that we've at the very least got those outposts out on the extremities, which we know about. They're out here. There's a few too many villages for them, but nonetheless, they are there. And now the production number's starting to build. We've got 3 barracks, 4 barracks in total. I guess 4 barracks in total. 2 archery ranges, 2 stables. So plenty of production here. Expect for Corvinus to start rocketing up that income as well. Have a look at the income. Let's see what we've got. So at the moment, the Malians sitting on about, what are we at? 1,200 plus the 700. So about 1,900 compared to his opponent, sitting on about 2k. So Faye actually doing pretty damn good on the economy side of things. And I think a large amount of that is going to be contributed to the fact that we've got some really efficient food gathering down here on the south. The boar has been taken. We've also got the deer that are nearby. So this is a really nice little spot that Faye's got set up down here. More units rallying towards the middle, and she's quite happy just playing a longer feudal age. More than 100 population now online for her, and this is a very aggressive wall. On a map like this is something I typically like to avoid, but have a look at this. The numbers starting to build here. Donzo's on the front, gonna eat that cavalry alive, doing a really good job. Archers on the back looking to try and find their way through, but you can see the javelins are just able to one-shot those gilded archers, and each one of those archers are worth 2 archers. And now, unfortunately, in just a very quick turn of events, Faye has gone from having a favorable military position to having an unfavorable military position. And that just shows how explosive that Malian production is. Once the castle age comes around, once the Malian player says, you know what, I've kind of got enough cows now, I think that's pretty good. I've got enough pit mines, I think that's good. And then they just decide, I guess I'll make units. And that's exactly what they do. And they end up absolutely steamrolling over the top of you. So you've got to be careful with that. But now, archer numbers starting to build here for Faye. She's up to 12 archers. 6 horsemen out. Definitely a nice little combo, but it is tough to be run against this. Corvinus has got plenty of range on those javelin throwers. Remember, those javelin throwers are quite long in range, 6 tiles in total. Now to the front, the men-at-arms. These guys could be the difference between this. Archers still continuing to tee off towards the Donzos. Beautiful micro here onto the backside. We can see the Donzos do look to try and connect with the Gilded Horsemen, and they will indeed do that, but the men-at-arms are also going to be looking to eat them alive, and it's a pretty nice little clinch here from Faye. The numbers still supporting Corvinus. The upgrades are starting to come through. We can see he's got fitted leatherwork here as well as his iron undermesh, so he's going to be absolutely tanking out the wazoo. +1 upgrades all round. Compare that over to Faye, and still yet to pick up that melee armor, but she will in the end be able to clear this out, as you would expect, considering she has invested a lot of resources in her military, whereas Corvinus has invested a lot of resources in his age up. But now, remember, the closer you get to the enemy base, the harder and faster those reinforcements will come. Just simply because the more distance you make towards there, just naturally, the closer the enemy production will get. But we do now start to see that castle age is coming through here for Faye. Looks like relics are going to be the play. 3 relics to the north in that top quadrant. 1 relic to the south. 1 relic over towards the west side. I tell you what, when you assess it that way, it definitely feels like the advantage rests with Faye. And by going into the Regnitz Cathedral here, she's going to be in a really solid position. The question's going to be about how many of these she can actually secure. If she can get 4, she's going to be living her best life. That is for sure. But keep in mind, this is quite a late age up as it is. Normally, we don't see 19-minute feudal ages coming out from Order of the Dragon. Normally, we see a second town center if that's going to be the case. If it's a 19-minute age up, then almost always you've got that second TC, but you don't have that here. She's just looking to stick at 1 TC, play a bit more traditional. And now the age up comes through. Expect to see prelates produced almost immediately out of the Regnitz Cathedral. Keep in mind, it is acting as a monastery, which is actually part of the reason why it's a better landmark for the Order of the Dragon than it is for the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire have already got prelates out, whereas with the Order of the Dragon, you don't have prelates out yet. But it looks like we might have ourselves a little bit of trouble. Faye doesn't drop off the meat first, so all those villagers have jumped inside with plenty of meat to survive. The question is going to be whether they outlast the enemy forces that are outside, or whether they're going to starve to death, and I suspect it's probably going to be the enemy forces that do it. Nice little surround now from Corvinus. The villagers, unfortunately, that's going to be 7 villagers going down here. Faye, unfortunately, losing out very early on, and Faye just having to move away from this position, saying, I don't have my veterancy in yet, Drongo. I can't fight this. And now those Sofa towards the front. Remember, we talked about this. You want to have your walls up, or you want to have outposts up. But even then, outposts, you need to be able to garrison your villagers. In walls, they need to be able to stop those Sofas from running through, because they will have the imported armor, and especially once, what is it, Wedge Rivets comes through. I think this is Wedge Rivets now coming through. Those are going to be very difficult to deal with Sofa warriors. If we take a look at the Veteran Gilded Archer, they do 9 damage. With +2 coming through, that's going to go up to 10 damage, which is pretty good. That's about a longbow. The problem is the Veteran Sofa has a total of 7 ranged armor, so you're only doing 3 damage a pop to them. So you really have to look towards Gilded Crossbow, Gilded Spearman as your option. You can't be playing into a heavy archer composition, but we do now start to see Dragon Scale Leather coming through for Faye. So she may be thinking more about playing on that archer heavy side, but when you do that, you then expose yourself to the risk of mangonels. My theory with this technology is that it seems very, very strong if you can make it through the feudal age with a large mass of archers. Then when you get up to castle, the idea would be get your veterancy, get your +2 ranged attack, and get your dragon scale leather, and then push your enemy with a big mass of archers. You know, for the Holy Roman Empire, or for the Order of the Dragon, that's probably like 5 archers, 10 archers, somewhere in that region. Not really, I'm joking, guys. It's probably like 15 to 20 archers would be a reasonable number. But Faye going for this wall again at the top. Once again, I'm still not a fan of this. I think she's fearful that her opponent may look to trade, because the Saharan trade network is here. And, you know, speaking of landmarks that really don't get much value, can we talk about the Saharan trade network? I guess it's more of an insurance policy, right? Like, it's kind of like, yeah, well, if I'm trading late game, it's going to be nice to have the extra little bit of food. I guess, really? Not really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I can't justify the Saharan trade network. I mean, it was made as a barbican, right? Like, that's the idea. Utilized as that source. But now we see the outpost under pressure. Faye making a little bit of a mistake, not fortifying the outpost, no emplacement inside it either. She will be losing it. A couple more units up towards that top side. Keep in mind the Relic's in a pretty decent position here, but could be sniped away pretty easily. Man-at-arm numbers beginning to build. Lunch Connector also going to get mixed in here, which could be tough for Corvinus to deal with. And now making their swings to the front. Archers teeing off on the backside. Javelins continue to move up, making sure they shadow them, getting picked off one by one. The Prelate's going to be coming out. Keep in mind, we did see that Inspiration now coming out as well. It's going to be 15% extra damage, 1 extra armor. Not too bad. These veteran archers now up to 4 armor. Some of them up to 5 armor. Have a look at this one right here. 5 ranged armor. Definitely going to help out against the javelin throwers, which are doing 20 damage, but still, I mean, you're reducing the damage down from 20 to 15, so not too bad at all. More attacks coming through. Units up towards the north side. We can see that it's done a decent job of dealing with it, but Faye still slowly whacking away there. More reinforcements come in. It's going to be more Gilded Archers, but the Sofa Warriors are going to be the problem. This is what we talked about in that beginning. You can see that she's moving towards this mass of Gilded Archers. She really wants to play into it. She wants to make it work. She wants to try and make Dragon Leather work, but it feels a little bit like Fetch in a 2000s movie. Stop trying to make it work. It's just not going to happen, at least not at this stage of the game. I feel like it's gone past, even though it's like, it seems like a cool tech, I feel like it's just gone past where its main strength is, and that's a really early Castle Age as you transition. It kind of reminds me of Royal Bloodlines for the French in a way. You know, you want to get a big mass of knights up, and then you reach Castle Age, research Royal Bloodlines, and then just attack straight away. But Faye not going to be taking that advice. Instead, going to be saying, Drongo, I'm going to stick it to the man right now. Corvinus in a little bit of trouble here as the push is finally getting pushed back. 76 workers up against 45. Second TC now coming up here for Corvinus on the south side. So going to be looking to ensure that income in the late game. Prelate unfortunately going to get sniped out here, I suspect. Indeed it does. But at this stage, Faye's managed to get 4 relics, which is really good. So now, as long as she's able to get her food economy online, which she's got her Archon Chapel up already. Not doing too much work back here, but if she can get the Archon Chapel filled with farms, and she can maintain a decent amount of units out on the battlefield, she's in a good position to go Imperial and look to make sure that this villager lead is actually dealt with. Because at the moment, it's not really being dealt with at all. Up towards the top side, looks like we've got ourselves a little bit of villager on villager violence. We got the dragon villager firing out some fire, because it's a dragon and it fires fire. Buying stone, throws down a keep. All right, fair enough. You do you, Corvinus. I'm not gonna hate. That is aggressive right there. When you throw the marker down on the front line, you're like, hey, there's gonna be a keep here any second, so you better go on and get. And so, what does Faye do? Faye throws down her own market. She says, you want to put down a market? I can put down a market. I can put down a market as well. I'm going to come back with 900. Oh, Lord. Never mind. It looks like Lord Doubt will not be smiling today. The archers come up and they hit the mining camp. Yeah, get out of here, mining camp. Oh, poor Faye. She's having one of those games. You can feel it. You can feel it right now for Faye. Oh, you know, she's gone and she's made her own market with blackjack and hookers. Except... There's no blackjack and there's no hookers. It's a sad market. All right, the numbers over here on the east side, not looking the best. Villagers still getting picked off. She's lost 22 this game so far. More villagers still kind of trying to find their way through this. And we see the archers do just chill for the moment. There might be a nice little sweet spot over here that she could be able to exploit. Still struggling with that gold. We can see the gold vein's got 2,600 on it. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that she's even on gold. I'd just be going on wood right now, really heavily on wood, looking to transition that wood into food by throwing farms down and then just getting a defensive keep down, right? Like, that's what it's all about. Get that nice little defensive keep in here just to make sure that you're safe. Maybe build up those archer numbers, just always fighting underneath the keep, making sure you're kiting back to the keep, you're having a good time, that sort of thing. Towards that top side, the archer's just still going to trickle in damage towards Corvinus and his market. Definitely Faye a little bit upset about that market shenanigan in the north of the map. More vills on the south side. Corvinus could be thinking about an Imperial Age. Have a look at this, 2,700 gold. And I think that's definitely one of the goals that you should be looking for as the Order of the Dragon. I definitely think there's a world where Order of the Dragon kind of skips Castle Age. Okay, picture this. 1 TC, Order of the Dragon, build up lots and lots of archers. Okay, maybe just like mix in your spears as well, because your archers have got longer range, so they can kind of counter enemy archers in that regard. And then with your spears, you're defending. Okay, then you go Castle Age with your big massive archers, let's say 30 archers. You get your upgrades, right? Get +2 ranged attack, get your dragon scale leather, so now you're absolutely... You know, you're absolutely fuming with power. And then you just go Imperial straight away. Like, just bam, hit the button. Imperial straight away, instantly. I mean, you probably want to pick up relics. You probably want to make a couple knights. But for the most part, you know, you guys get the picture. That could be it. That could be the strategy. That's what we need to solve the Order of the Dragon. Because at the moment, they sit unsolved. They are like the Byzantines in day one. We didn't know what to do with them. You needed a PhD, but they didn't tell you what university. They're just like, what do we need to solve this civilization? They said a PhD. We would say, which university? And they'd say, you're gonna have to work that out yourself. And it's like, I can't even get a PhD, let alone work out the university. This is gonna be tough. And it turns out it's like the University of Canberra. It's like, of all universities, it's UC? No, surely not. Surely not. Griot Borough coming up. Walls going down. What are these walls all about? Okay, fearful of a Lanch Connect snipe coming through. It does make a connection. Griot Borough was paused, but now 14 villagers do return, coming back to it. Looks like a gate might be thrown down here. Indeed, it is the case. And now Faye just kind of chilling out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Faye go Imperial here as well. Now, one of the best units that the Order of the Dragon have, it's actually the best unit in my opinion. It's a Hand Cannoneer. If we can see Gilded Hand Cannoneers coming out for Faye, oh, I like it. Oh, I like it. Faye finally got the memo. She says, I'm going to throw down some farms. How many farms is Faye sitting on? See, she's only on 15 farms. And to me, it feels like for a civilization that does so well with farms, right? Like you've got higher carry capacity on your villages, wheelbarrow with a higher carry capacity. You've got the prelate, or well, you don't really have the prelate, but you got, you know, large, faster gather rate. You got your Archon Chapel here as well. It works very well when you combine that with things like your faster gather rates from your mill, your precision crossbreeding, all that good stuff. Whereas, I guess it feels like you haven't really taken advantage of that. So I think if I was going to head back to the drawing board and address this with Faye, I'd be like, okay, which I do quite often. Not with Faye specifically, but over on my Patreon, if you're interested. We do plenty of coaching, but that's one of the things I would say to her. I'd be like, look, we probably want to try and capitalize a little bit more on our farming economy a little bit sooner, because that's definitely one of our strengths. We want to play to it, and instead of, you know, coming out onto the map, we want to try and get that farm transition in sooner rather than later. But outnumbered now, 2-1 on that village account. Military starting to build as well. Keep in mind there's going to be elite upgrades now coming through, and it's going to be elite Musafari, which is one of the worst units to go up against. This unit is terrible to fight against. It is fearsome as a warrior. And now towards the front, the prelates look to show how it's done. Musafari are out. Keep in mind they're fighting up against the Landsknechte together with the spears, and behind this the javelins are just teeing off on that backline. The gilded archers trying their best to dish out the damage, and Faye now going to be going for the Palace of Swabia behind this. I can't help but feel like this fight might be a little bit early for Faye. She's taking the fight, but, you know, we could have been fighting underneath our TC. Where's that keep that we were going to throw down? She's got 900 stone in the bank, so she could throw it down definitely at this stage. But it just feels like a bit of a waste of units. Now, she does have more units on the field. I've got no idea where they're at, though. It says she's got 39. Are they... Where are these other units? Down here? No, there's the Swabia. Where are these units, Faye? There's a random 4 units up here. I don't see where these units are. Apparently there's 6 Landsknechts and 6 gilded archers. I mean, even then, that's not really much. Two gilded crossbow. I guess that this is it. This is the 32 military population of the Order of the Dragon. All right, it's fearsome, guys, but I'm fearful for it. All right, slowly but steadily. Faye being chipped away at. She's got to the Imperial Age, which is important. Now she needs to look towards cannon emplacements. That's going to be the big thing for her right now. She needs cannon emplacements. So throwing up the outpost in the base, because she doesn't have that keep, getting the cannon emplacement is going to be imperative for her. Wanting to do that in the back of the base is normally the best spot. That way you're guaranteed to force your opponent really quite deep in there. It's got a nice big radius on it, or range on it as well. So you want to get that cannon emplacement up. Tithe Barns is coming through as well, another really important upgrade. But struggling now. You can see how effective a cannon emplacement would be right here. Landsknecht numbers starting to build up to 5 Landsknechts. Have we got the hand cannon out? I think I saw a hand cannon here, but I think it may have died. No, I'm not 100% sure. More gilded archers coming through. I think I might be imagining things. The numbers still looking really, really good for Corvinus. He's lucky that Faye... Oh, okay, Faye's just tapping out. She's just deciding... I think Faye could have held that 100%. She just needed to throw down an outpost with a cannon emplacement. She would have held that. And then Swabia would have came online. It's tough to see, but fellas, make sure you go and check them out. I'll leave links in the description for Faye as well as for Corvinus. An unfortunate game. Another Order of the Dragon loss. Another Faye loss. But hey, maybe the next one, it'll switch.